Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of US 5-cent coins, as some of these coins are rare and can make you rich overnight. In this video, we are gonna uncover the rarest coins and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we are diving into the fascinating story of the United States of America 5-cent coin from the year 1969. At first glance, it may look like any other nickel you've handled 1,000 times before, but the truth is that some rare varieties of this coin have astonished collectors around the world. The reason? Extraordinary minting errors, outstanding preservation, and historical quirks that make this little 5-cent piece far more than just spare change. Stick around until the very end, because the final number I reveal will absolutely blow your mind. Let's begin with the basics. The 5-cent coin, better known as the Jefferson nickel, has been a cornerstone of American pocket change since 1938. The obverse design features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, created by Felix Schlag. Above Jefferson's head we see the word liberty, along with the motto, "In God we trust," and at the bottom sits the date, 1969 in our case. Flip it over, and you'll find the iconic image of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home. The word Monticello is centered under the building, and United States of America encircles the bottom edge. It's a classic design that millions of Americans recognize instantly. Now, you might ask, if the coin was minted by the millions, what makes the 1969 Jefferson nickel special? The answer lies in rarity created by condition and by errors. Most of the 1969 nickels were struck for everyday use, tossed into change, and worn down over decades. Coins like these hold no special premium. But when you find one in pristine, uncirculated condition with sharp details and bright luster, it's a completely different story. Collectors treasure examples graded at mint state 65 or higher, and the higher the grade, the rarer the coin becomes. By the time you reach the upper levels like MS67 or MS68, you are dealing with nickels that are nearly impossible to find, and that rarity drives up the price dramatically. Beyond condition, the real excitement comes from minting errors. One of the most well-known errors for 1969 nickels involves off-center strikes. This happens when the blank planchet is not properly aligned in the press, causing the design to be struck off-center. In minor cases, the coin just looks slightly odd, but when the off-center strike leaves a large blank crescent of the planchet exposed, the value skyrockets. Collectors absolutely love dramatic errors because they are visually striking and unique. Another type of error that can appear is a double die strike. This means that during the minting process, the design was impressed twice in slightly different positions. On a 1969 nickel, doubling can appear in the lettering on Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the date. These double die errors are highly sought after because they are rare, easy to see with the naked eye, and make the coin one of a kind. Then there are wrong planchet errors, where a Jefferson nickel design was accidentally struck on a blank mint for another denomination. Imagine a nickel design on a dime-sized planchet. That kind of mistake creates a coin that collectors will pay serious money to own. Struck through errors add even more possibilities. Sometimes grease, fabric, or even a small piece of metal debris got between the die and the blank during the striking process, leaving unusual marks or missing details. Each struck-through error is completely unique, making these coins miniature pieces of minting history. Proof coins also play an important role. In 1969, the San Francisco Mint produced proof nickels for collectors, struck with polished dies and specially prepared planchets. These coins have a mirror-like surface and frosted details, creating a beautiful contrast. High-grade proof nickels with strong cameo or deep cameo appearance are rare and command a strong premium. The real charm of the 1969 5-cent piece is that it represents both history and mystery. On one hand, it's a snapshot of American coinage during a time of cultural change, the late 60s, with space exploration, political unrest, and social transformation shaping the nation. On the other hand, it's a reminder that even the most ordinary coins can turn into extraordinary treasures when you look closely enough. Every jar of change, every old box of coins tucked away in a drawer or inherited from family, might contain one of these rare varieties, Imagine the thrill of finding a coin that everyone else overlooked, only to discover that it holds significant value because of its condition or a rare error. That's what makes coin collecting such a captivating hobby. It combines history, art, and the thrill of treasure hunting all in one. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. While the majority of 1969 Jefferson nickels are worth only their face value of 5 cents, the rarest examples, those with spectacular errors or preserved in the highest possible grades, have been valued at an astounding $83,000. Yes, you heard that right. $83,000 for a coin that most people would pass over without a second thought. So the next time you come across an old nickel from 1969, take a closer look. It could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Top 2, we are going to explore a coin that might be sitting unnoticed in an old jar of change, tucked away in a drawer, or even passed down from a family collection. At first sight, it may look like just another nickel, but this little piece of metal carries with it stories of history, artistry, and hidden fortune. We're talking about the United States of America 5-cent coin from the year 1978. Stay with me until the end of this video, because you won't believe how much some of these coins have sold for when they feature rare errors or survive in remarkable condition. The nickel has been an everyday workhorse of American coinage, used constantly in shops, vending machines, and cash registers. Designed by Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel first entered circulation in 1938 and has remained one of the most familiar designs in modern history. The obverse showcases the distinguished portrait of Thomas Jefferson, author of the Declaration of Independence and third President of the United States. On the reverse sits his beloved Virginia home, Monticello, carefully engraved to display its neoclassical architecture. By 1978, this design had been in circulation for 40 years, yet the year produced some fascinating surprises for collectors. So, what makes a 1978 nickel special? The truth is, millions were minted, but rarity is born not from the ordinary, but from the extraordinary. And when it comes to the 1978 5-cent piece, the extraordinary comes from condition and minting errors. Let's first talk about condition. Most coins circulated endlessly, collecting scratches, dings, and discoloration. They were used to buy gum, pay bus fares, or sit in cash drawers for decades. A heavily worn 1978 nickel will likely always be worth its face value. But a coin that has survived in pristine, uncirculated condition tells a completely different story. Collectors chase coins that have sharp, crisp details, full steps on Monticello's stairs, and original mint luster. Coins graded at mint state 65 or higher become significantly harder to find, and as you climb the grading ladder toward mint state 67 or 68, you enter the realm of true rarity. Those nickels shine like freshly struck examples, despite being over 4 decades old, and their value can skyrocket. But condition is only half the tale. The other half, and perhaps the more exciting half, comes from minting errors. Imagine holding a coin where something went wrong at the mint, an accident that turned an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind collectible. These errors are not just quirks. They are treasures. One of the most dramatic and desirable errors is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet doesn't align correctly with the dies, causing part of the design to land outside the coin's borders. Sometimes it's just a few percent off, but the really valuable examples are those where a large portion of the design is missing, leaving a crescent-shaped blank space. Then we have double die errors. When the design is struck twice in slightly different positions, the result is visible doubling in the lettering or the date. On a 1978 nickel, doubling in Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the numbers of the date would be an immediate signal that the coin is rare and desirable. Collectors go wild for such errors because they are striking and easy to recognize. Another possibility is a wrong planchet error. Occasionally, a Jefferson nickel design was struck on a blank intended for a dime or even a penny. The size, weight, and color differences make such coins instantly unusual. They are extremely rare, but when discovered, they can fetch incredible prices. Struck through errors also create fascinating pieces. Imagine a piece of cloth, wire, or grease getting between the die and the planchet during striking. The result is an imprint or missing detail that makes the coin totally unique. These errors transform an otherwise ordinary nickel into a collector's dream. Let's not forget proof coins. Though regular circulation strikes were minted in Philadelphia and Denver, proof nickels were struck in San Francisco with polished dies and special care. These coins have mirrored fields and frosted details, and when they exhibit deep cameo contrast, they become highly desirable. A 1978 proof nickel in pristine condition with strong cameo surfaces is a jewel for any collection. What makes all this so exciting is that you never know where one of these coins might appear. It could be sitting unnoticed in a jar of nickels, or resting in a family collection that no one has looked at for years. That's the thrill of coin collecting, the discovery of something extraordinary hiding in plain sight. Now, we've explored the history, the design, the errors, and the collector appeal. It's time for the big reveal. The reason so many collectors dream of stumbling across one of these rare finds. While an average 1978 nickel might only be worth 5 cents, the rarest examples, whether due to pristine uncirculated condition, dramatic minting errors, or stunning proof qualities, have been valued at an astonishing $77,000. Yes, you heard that right. $77,000 for a single 5-cent coin. So the next time you come across a nickel from 1978, don't dismiss it too quickly. Take a closer look. It might just be the treasure you never expected. Top 3, we're turning our attention to a piece of American change that most people have held in their hands at some point, but very few have ever stopped to study carefully. It's the 5-cent coin from the year 1981, better known as the Jefferson nickel. At first glance, it seems like nothing more than a pocket full of loose change. But if you're a true collector or someone lucky enough to discover a rare variant, this nickel could be worth far more than you ever dreamed. Stay with me through this journey, because by the time we reach the end, you'll learn just how high the value of a rare 1981 nickel can soar. Let's set the stage. By 1981, the Jefferson nickel had already been in circulation for over 4 decades. Designed by Felix Schlag in 1938, the obverse carries the strong and thoughtful profile of Thomas Jefferson, while the reverse features Monticello, his stately home in Virginia. Millions upon millions of nickels rolled out of the Philadelphia and Denver mints in 1981, with additional specially prepared proof nickels struck at San Francisco. On the surface, this doesn't sound like a recipe for rarity. But the fascinating thing about coin collecting is that rarity is born not simply from low mintage numbers, but from condition, preservation, and mistakes made during production. Consider the condition first. The vast majority of 1981 nickels were spent in everyday life, sliding across counters, jangling in pockets, sitting in cash registers. These circulation-worn examples rarely bring more than their face value. But imagine a coin that has never been spent, carefully preserved from the day it left the mint. Collectors call these mint state coins, and they are graded on a precise scale. A 1981 nickel graded mint state 65 or higher already stands out. But when you reach the lofty heights of mint state 67 or 68, you're talking about coins that are incredibly scarce. The surfaces gleam, the details are sharp, and the Monticello steps are fully visible, traits that make collectors' hearts race. And then there are the errors, the true treasures of the minting world. Minting errors are accidents, but they create one-of-a-kind coins that often command staggering prices. For 1981 nickels, some of the most dramatic errors include off-center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned with the coin's edge. The more off-center the strike, the more dramatic and valuable the error. Another highly desirable error is the double die, where the design is accidentally imprinted twice at slightly different angles. This can create visible doubling in the date, the lettering of liberty, or the motto, "I in God we trust." These double details are unmistakable and can transform a humble nickel into a prized rarity. Wrong planchet errors are another fascinating category. Occasionally, the Jefferson nickel design was struck on a blank intended for another coin, such as a penny or a dime. These wrong planchet nickels are instantly recognizable because of their odd size or color and are highly sought after. There are also struck-through errors, where grease, cloth, or other debris interfered with the striking process, leaving unusual patterns or missing details on the coin's surface. Each struck-through error is unique, which makes them especially interesting to collectors who appreciate one-of-a-kind pieces. Let's not forget the role of proof coins. In 1981, the San Francisco Mint struck proof nickels for collectors using polished dies and special planchets. These proof coins have brilliant mirror-like fields and frosted details that give them striking visual contrast. Coins with strong cameo or deep cameo qualities are even more desirable, especially when they survive in perfect condition free from handling or marks. Why does all of this matter? Because within the sea of ordinary 1981 nickels, a few stand out as extraordinary. And those extraordinary pieces can command extraordinary prices. Imagine the thrill of finding one in a family coin jar, or spotting the telltale signs of an error that others have overlooked. This is what makes coin collecting such a passion for so many. The blend of history, art, and the excitement of hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. The 1981 Jefferson nickel may not seem special at first, but it is a reminder to always look closer. A single coin can carry with it a fascinating story of minting quirks, artistic design, and collector demand. Every scratch, every detail, every anomaly tells part of its journey from the mint presses to your hand. And for a select few, the journey ends with an astonishing value that few would believe possible for a simple 5-cent piece. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. While the average 1981 nickel will only ever be worth 5 cents, the rarest examples, those in the highest grades, with dramatic errors or preserved as perfect proofs, have reached values as high as $74,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $74,000 for a coin that most people wouldn't think twice about spending at a vending machine. That's the beauty of coin collecting. Hidden treasures waiting in plain sight. So the next time you see a 1981 nickel, take a closer look. You never know. You could be holding a small piece of fortune right in your hand. We are going to uncover the story of a coin that might be sitting in your pocket change right now. One that most people would spend without a second thought. Yet hidden among the ordinary are pieces so rare and so extraordinary that their value will leave you stunned. The coin we're talking about is the United States of America 5-cent piece from the year 2000. It's small, it's common, and yet, when the stars align with perfect condition and remarkable minting errors, this nickel can transform into a collector's dream. Stick with me until the end of this video because you'll want to hear just how much one of these nickels has been valued at. Let's begin with the basics. The Jefferson nickel has been an American staple since 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, it carries the strong portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side, with the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and of course, the date. Here, the year 2000. On the reverse, we see Jefferson's famous home, Monticello, carefully detailed with its classical dome and steps. For over 60 years, this design connected generations of Americans, bridging past and present with every transaction. By the year 2000, the Jefferson nickel was still in full production. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced hundreds of millions of them, and San Francisco struck proof versions for collectors. On the surface, nothing seems rare about this coin. But rarity doesn't always come from low mintage numbers. Rarity often comes from the condition in which a coin survives, or from the errors and anomalies created during minting. And that's where the 2000 nickel becomes exciting. First, let's talk about condition. Most nickels are spent, carried in pockets, rubbed against other coins, and quickly lose their mint luster. These worn examples will never be worth more than 5 cents. But imagine finding a 2000 nickel that has never been circulated, one that looks as fresh as the day it left the mint. Collectors call these mint state coins, and they are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded mint state 65 already stands out, while mint state 67 or 68 are incredibly scarce. These coins shine brilliantly, with every detail of Jefferson's portrait and Monticello's steps crisp and flawless. For collectors, those high grades are where value begins to climb. Now let's turn to the world of minting errors, the accidents that transform ordinary coins into extraordinary treasures. One of the most dramatic and valuable errors is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is not properly aligned with the dies, and the design is struck partially off the coin's surface. Some off-center errors leave a large blank crescent, making the coin look bizarre and unique. The more dramatic the misalignment, the higher the value. Another exciting error is the double die. This occurs when the die imprints the design twice at slightly different angles, creating visible doubling in the lettering or the date. On a 2000 nickel, doubling in Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the year itself is a clear sign you're looking at something extraordinary. Double die errors are among the most popular and valuable of all coin errors because they are easy to spot and undeniably unique. Then there are wrong planchet errors. Imagine a nickel design struck on a dime planchet, leaving the coin smaller and lighter than usual, or struck on a foreign coin blank, which occasionally happened in mints that produced coins for other countries. These wrong planchet errors are extremely rare and highly desirable. Struck-through errors are another category to watch for. Grease, cloth, or small bits of metal sometimes got between the die and the planchet during minting, leaving behind strange patterns or missing details. Each struck-through coin is one of a kind, which makes them fascinating collectibles. Proof coins from San Francisco also deserve mention. These were specially struck for collectors with polished dies and mirror-like surfaces. A 2000 S-proof nickel with strong cameo or deep cameo contrast can be breathtaking. The frosted portrait of Jefferson appears to float above a reflective field, and when these coins survive in perfect condition, they command serious attention from collectors. All of this brings us to the heart of coin collecting. It's about more than just money. It's about the thrill of discovery, the stories coins carry, and the chance to find something rare in the most ordinary places. Every time you look closely at a coin, you're stepping into a world of history, artistry, and hidden fortune. So, what about the value? This is the part you've been waiting for. While most 2000 nickels are only worth 5 cents, the rarest examples, whether through remarkable preservation, stunning proof quality, or dramatic minting errors, have been valued at an astonishing $71,000. Yes, you heard that right. $71,000 for a 5-cent coin. So the next time you see a nickel from the year 2000, don't dismiss it too quickly. Take a closer look. You just might be holding a treasure in your hand. Top 5. We are diving into one of the most familiar coins in modern America, a piece of change that almost everyone has seen, spent, or held in their hand at some point in recent years. At first glance, it looks completely ordinary, but some rare examples of this coin have surprised collectors with values you would not believe. We're talking about the United States of America 5-cent coin from the year 2016. Don't be fooled by its modern date. This nickel holds secrets that make it one of the most exciting coins to keep an eye out for. Stay tuned, because at the end of this video, I'll reveal just how much the rarest version of this coin has been valued at. And trust me, the number will leave you stunned. The 5-cent coin has been a cornerstone of American money since the late 19th century, but the Jefferson nickel has been the most enduring design, first introduced in 1938. The obverse has long carried the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, and in 2006, the U.S. Mint updated the design to feature a forward-facing image of Jefferson with more lifelike detail. By 2016, this updated design was well established, showing Jefferson's sharp gaze, framed by the words "Liberty" and "I in God We Trust," along with the date. On the reverse, we still see the classic image of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, with the word Monticello across the bottom and E pluribus unum above. At first glance, a 2016 nickel doesn't seem unusual. After all, hundreds of millions were produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with additional proof coins struck in San Francisco. But as collectors know, the real story is not in the ordinary, it's in the rare. And when it comes to rarity, condition and errors are everything. Let's begin with condition. Think about how most nickels are used: tossed in change jars, rattling in car cup holders, or passed across counters every day. The vast majority quickly develop scratches, dings, and discoloration. These worn coins will never be worth more than 5 cents. But imagine finding a 2016 nickel in absolutely pristine condition, straight from the mint and never circulated. Collectors call these mint state coins, and they are graded carefully on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded mint state 65 or higher is considered exceptional, and once you get to mint state 67 or 68, you're looking at true rarities. Add to that the special designation of full steps, where every stair on Monticello is perfectly visible, and you have a coin that collectors will chase. Now let's talk about errors, the accidents that can make a coin one of a kind. Some of the most dramatic and valuable are off-center strikes. This happens when the blank planchet is not aligned correctly with the dies, and part of the design lands off the coin. A small off-center strike may be interesting, but a large one that leaves a big blank crescent makes the coin dramatically rare. Another highly collectible error is the double die. Imagine looking closely at the date or the word liberty and seeing clear doubling of the letters. This occurs when the die imprints the design twice in slightly different positions. Such double details are immediately eye-catching and can send the value of a coin soaring. There are also wrong planchet errors, where a Jefferson nickel design is accidentally struck on a blank mint for a different denomination. A nickel struck on a dime planchet, smaller and lighter than normal, would stand out instantly and command strong value. Struck-through errors provide another layer of fascination. Sometimes grease, cloth, or even small fragments got between the die and the coin blank during minting, leaving odd textures or missing design details. Each struck-through error is completely unique, which makes them especially appealing to collectors who value one-of-a-kind pieces. Proof coins from San Francisco add yet another angle of rarity. These are struck with polished dies and specially prepared planchets, creating mirror-like fields and frosted devices. A deep cameo-proof nickel from 2016, perfectly preserved, gleams like a miniature work of art. These proof nickels can be worth far more than their face value, particularly when certified in flawless condition. So why does all of this matter? Because coins like the 2016 nickel prove that rarity isn't limited to centuries-old pieces. Even modern coins, when preserved perfectly or struck with dramatic errors, can turn into treasures worth thousands of dollars. It's a reminder that collectors should never ignore the coins they see every day. Think about it. Your spare change, a coin jar at home, or even a roll of nickels from the bank could contain one of these rare varieties. It's the thrill of the hunt, the possibility that the next coin you examine could be something extraordinary, that keeps collectors searching. And now, the part you've been waiting for. While most 2016 nickels will never be worth more than their 5-cent face value, the rarest examples, those with exceptional grades, full steps, or remarkable minting errors, have been valued at an incredible $67,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $67,000 for a coin that could still be found in circulation today. So next time you come across a nickel dated 2016, take a closer look. You might just be holding a small fortune without even realizing it. And if you enjoyed this journey into the world of the 2016 5-cent coin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more exciting coin stories, and drop a comment below telling me what rare coin you've discovered or hope to find. Your support keeps this community growing, and together we'll keep uncovering the hidden value inside everyday change.